to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Get right into it. So the last couple of days, I posted a bunch of Trump videos. I even did a three-parter on Donald Trump Jr.'s new book, Triggered. And earlier today, I talked about how stupid Donald Trump is, Trump's cabinet, his staff, and his aides. They try to make things simple so as not to confuse him. I mean, we're talking about a guy with a very low IQ, uneducated, vulgar man. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. And he doesn't read. And all right. So I played a tape of Trump, and I was kind of laughing, you know, like, here we are, this guy, he's a 9-year-old. He really is a child. He behaves like a child. He writes at a third grade level, the way he tweets, etc. But it's not your ordinary 9-year-old. He's a cognitively limited one, a poorly behaved 9-year-old who's always crying, victim. Oh, really, victim? A privileged white male born with a silver spoon who's had every possible advantage in life is like, oh, they're always picking on me and the media and all this. The biggest crybaby snowflake out there, right? The irony where he calls the media or liberals and left-wing snowflakes. He's the biggest snowflake of all. So, all right, so I was laughing in that video. I was kidding around. But this stuff is serious. He's dangerous, too, right? He has the most powerful, most important, most consequential job on planet Earth. He's the president of the United States, leader of the free world. Everything he says and does has impact and consequences. In fact, every tweet has a major effect on Wall Street. I mean, everything hinges on this. So, yeah, it's funny that we have a moron as a president, kind of like they, was that Chauncey Gardner from that book by, it doesn't matter, Kaczynski's book, and they made a movie about it, being there or something's hilarious. But listen, Chauncey Gardner, but Trump is freaking dangerous. He's got ungodly power. So it's fucking dangerous. Like, you know, like Nazi Germany dangerous, right? It really is. And so I'm going to play you a clip where Trump is at this rally. This was 2 days ago in Kentucky with Rand Paul. And he's basically calling for the whistleblower's name and calling for essentially violence. And you got to see the morons. You talk about white trash at these rallies. So let me just get right into it, play it, and then I'll comment further. All right, ready? So here we go. Trump won't stop until the whistleblower is killed. Ready?
What's also worse than we could have ever imagined is the degree to which Donald Trump and people around him are desperate to endanger the life, really the lives, not only of the Ukraine whistleblower, but of the whistleblower's family as well. Now, I told you at the start of the Ukraine whistleblower fiasco that Donald Trump and his acolytes will not stop until the whistleblower is in danger. Yeah. And it actually is starting to seem like they will not stop until the whistleblower potentially loses their life. Trump has already referred to the whistleblower as a spy.
This is Nazi Germany shit.
As a traitor. We know that Trump is working very, very hard to leak the name of the whistleblower, despite whistleblower protection being a core tenet of the United States. Trump did one of his MAGA safe space rallies last night in Lexington, Kentucky.
Exactly,
Kentucky,
MAGA safe space.
The home state of totally toxic ophthalmologist Senator Rand Paul. And
he
Rand
is a
Paul,
repulsive figure.
An advocate for privacy, an advocate for the rule of law, an advocate for the Constitution. Rand Paul claiming that they have the whistleblower's name and the crowd goes wild, and imploring the media to out the whistleblower printing their name. They're not going to stop until the whistleblower may be dead. Take a look.
President Trump has great courage.
Look at that moron.
He faces down
Look at
the
that
fake media
buffoon.
every day.
I mean, this little dude, he's pathetic. It's like, you know what I mean? They're pathetic looking. Like, look at this little fella. Like he kind of reminds me of like a Joseph Goebbels, right? Little weird looking guy, and then this fat clown. Look at the red tie and the weird red face. And that stupid hair. It's kind of, I'm telling you,
Made $50,000
Goebbels,
a month.
Goering, Hitler,
That's
the whole thing.
definition of corruption. We know he got it only
And
because
look
of
at
his
the
family
losers
connections.
in the background.
We also now know the
They're
name
actually in
of the
front of him.
whistleblower.
That's video, so I'll be quiet.
The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden. At the same time,
Look at
Hunter
that
Biden was
fucker.
getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
This is sick shit, man. Look at that fucker. Oh.
The crowd cheers that they know the name of the whistleblower. They want him outed, which will, of course, immediately endanger not only the life of the whistleblower, but of their family as well. This is the type of thing that Trump brown-nosers like Rand Paul do when they're on good terms with Trump. But then sometimes those relationships with Donald Trump go bad, and Trump abandons them. They have a falling out, and later they'll say, yeah, maybe that was a mistake. I don't stand behind everything I did in support of Trump. And when it comes to Rand Paul, it's particularly hypocritical. Because Rand Paul, again, has been touting his entire political career. He's all about the Constitution. He's all about the framework that was established in the United States of America around privacy rights. This has been his entire career. And here is Rand Paul, privacy advocate Rand Paul, rule of law advocate Rand Paul, talking about let's violate the framework upon which our country is based in violation of the whistleblower's privacy rights for his political gain, to ingratiate himself with Donald Trump, who he's been golfing with regularly. Another touch, by the way, I don't know if you were listening, you didn't see this. If you watched the clip we just played, they gave the Trumpists standing on the stage behind Trump t-shirts that say, read the transcript, which is Trump's continued reference to the idea that if you just look at the transcript, it completely vindicates Donald Trump of any wrongdoing. Now, of course, they didn't release a transcript of the phone call. They released what seemed to be about 7 or 8 minutes of conversation from a phone call that we know lasted a half hour, which is, by the way, extraordinarily incriminating of Trump. Trump is not cognitively strong enough to recognize that the quote transcript, even the small pieces of it that were published, does not vindicate Trump. It's incriminating.
Exactly.
But they gave everybody on stage shirts that say read the transcript. Now, what they're asking for here in terms of media, go ahead and out the whistleblower. This runs counter to the law. Now, you can feel that politically the whistleblower should be outed. You might take that position as a political position. But the whistleblower is protected by law. And Donald Trump and Rand Paul claim to be about law and order. And law and order says that the whistleblower's identity must be protected. So they're all jumping on this messaging. Here is Donald Trump 2 days ago saying the same thing. Expose the whistleblower, which any reasonable person interprets as instantly endangering the life of the whistleblower.
Well, the whistleblower gave a very inaccurate report. And as you know, certain of the media released information about a man that they said was the whistleblower. I don't know if that's true or not. But what they said is he's an Obama person. It was involved with Brennan, Susan Rice, which means Obama. But he was like a big anti-Trump person.
He's so inarticulate, so disjointed, and speaks so confused.
But that was reported by some of the media, so you'll have to find out. I don't know why the media is not on it, because the whistleblower gave a very inaccurate report about my phone call. My phone call was perfecto. It was totally appropriate.
Oh my God.
But he gave a report, he or she, but according to the newspapers, it's a he. They think they know who it is. You know who it is. You just don't want to report it. CNN knows who it is, but you don't want to report it. And you know, you'd be doing the public a service if you did. The whistleblower gave a false report. And because of that false report, people thought bad things were done. And then you had Schiff go out and speak before Congress and before the American people and give a false story. He made up a story. And then I released, after all this was done, I released. And everybody said he didn't do anything wrong. But the whistleblower should be revealed.
Oh my God.
This is an incitement of violence against the whistleblower. I mean, listen, you can say Trump is not personally saying attack the whistleblower, but it is in practice an incitement of violence against the whistleblower, because They're being exposed, immediately endangers their life.
Yep.
It's also increasingly irrelevant, though, okay? And let me explain this to you. We have Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. We have, according to The Spectator, which I talked about earlier today, 7 new whistleblowers. We have Donald Trump's partial transcript itself, which is massively incriminating. So the initial whistleblower becomes less and less relevant every time that their claims are corroborated. Think about when someone calls the police and reports a burglary or a crime of some kind, and they want anonymity. But the police show up and they investigate, and they find other witnesses that saw the same thing. They find evidence that corroborates that initial anonymous report. It no longer matters who originally made that first anonymous report.
He is so good,
The whistleblower
David
that
Pakman.
Donald Trump
He's
wants outed
brilliant.
is increasingly irrelevant as we have witnesses who were in the room, who heard the July 25 phone call between Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. We have Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. So Trump is doing what he does best. It's really the only thing he can do, which is deflect the blame, try to distract the media, make the story an adjudication of the initial whistleblower. And you know that this is not going well because whenever you hear others come to Trump's defense, like Rand Paul in this case, they don't defend Trump's actions because Trump's actions are not defensible. They attack the whistleblower. They goad the media. And there's another important element here that we have to consider. By doing this, they are also intimidating future potential whistleblowers. And I've said this before.
That's right.
When you make a big show of publicly calling for the outing of a whistleblower, you are sending a message to others who know things that says, if you come forward, we will publicly, on the national stage, try to out you, and your life will be at risk, and the life of your family will be at risk. It's sick, it's anti-American, and we can't allow them to get away with it. We really can't. I believe that the fastest recourse, I mean, we're a year from the election. It's just 12 months, and then we can end this national nightmare of what will have been a 4-year nightmare.
Yep, exactly.
I believe that that is still the fastest path. Make sure you're following the David Pakman Show on Instagram.
And he said something very interesting, like this setting this precedent. Like, and there are a million things, like the whistleblower, exposing the whistleblower. This is fucking dangerous. It's not right. Like everything that Trump, all the stuff that he does, you've now set a precedent. Now think about the future. 5, 10 years from now, you go back. What are laws? If there's something, when you're discussing and talking about law, we are a nation of laws. You look at precedent, right? Every case when the Supreme Court is ruling over something, they look at precedent. Now we look, let's just say 10 years from now, Donald Trump, this, you see what I mean? It's so damn dangerous. All right, so I'm 13 minutes in. It's very dangerous times. And then, as David Pakman said it best, our national nightmare. We have to stop this before it's too late. Impeach, remove, and put him in prison where he belongs. Okay. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk. Good books, good friends, and a sleepy conscience.